Run, river, run, run through the hills. Run, river, run to the sea. Run, river, run to your place beneath the sea.
Welcome to be my guest. For those of you who live in this area, and maybe in Rhode Island and Connecticut, we have Tim Hare with us. And Tim Hare is the co-founder and he's CEO of Harborough Auto Sales and Service in Whitensville. Welcome, Tim.
Thank you for having me.
You know, in all these years, I remember I was telling Tim I'd been to his to the Harborough to get cars, to have my car serviced, and everyone was so polite. I remember I'd have fun with the girls behind the talking with them, getting to know them behind the reception desk. They were wonderful in your waiting room. You got a nice TV up there. You have I think you have some interesting, is it things like nature, animal stories, things like that? In your waiting room?
Different times we'd have different things on there.
Yeah, it's relaxing. I think you can read, just sit there, and you don't have to sit in a cold service bay. You know what that's like when they do that. So, Tim, when was Harborough founded? When did you start it?
April of 1973. My brother and I, and my brother David and I, went into business. And we didn't really think too much about it.
Whose idea was it, though?
Well, I had worked at J&S Motors.
Right in Whitensville.
In Whitensville as a teenager, and I had graduated from Worcester Boys Trade. Yeah. So cars were in my blood.
It was your thing.
And when I was working there, I also had a real estate license. And Bob Knightham, that owned REN Chevrolet, had a building for rent, and he hired us to find a tenant as real estate agents.
I think I know where this is going.
Yeah.
It was you.
So, it turned out it was where Crothers Tire is now.
You started at Carruthers?
Right, that's where our original place was.
See, I wasn't living around here at that point, no.
So in 1973, in April, I approached my brother, who was older than me, and asked him if he wanted to go into business. I was 20, he was 28. And we decided to go into business. Yeah. That's about all it took, Yeah. So it was an interesting time. We endured the OPEC oil embargo. So we opened a gas station, and not too long after being in business with a gas station, the OPEC oil embargo happened. Yeah. And
did you fix cars there, or was it just
that's all we did was fix.
Right where Crothers is.
Right. We didn't do
gas.
Any sales.
That was it.
Right. So we were selling gas, and we were talking. That brought people in, and you could engage them, and if they needed service work, we were getting a little service work. My brother wasn't working there right away. He was working at Farrer's, which was a building.
Well, what were you doing? Were you in the office, or did you help them pump gas?
I was pumping gas.
You were pumping the gas?
Oh, certainly, yeah. And I was repairing cars.
Yeah.
And that's what my background was. And so we were really struggling once we couldn't get gas, because the government put everyone on an allocation. Yeah. And the allocation was based on your prior year's sales, and we didn't have any because it was our first year.
Well, so how did they allocate?
We didn't get any. We had no allocation.
You had to shut down?
Right, we had to shut down the gas station.
How long was that?
Well, it took about over a year before we ever could get gas.
So what did you do for an income?
Well, that's my wife. By this time, I was married. Yeah. I wasn't married when we started. And my wife was a nurse, and she was supporting us.
And then it picked up once you got your allocation?
Well, no. What happened and how we got into the car business was we were not making it in the service end. We just couldn't really survive. And so I told my wife that I wanted to sell cars, but we didn't have any money. Yeah. So she had bought a 72 Chevelle when she got out of nursing school. Mm-hmm. And that was in 72, and then 73 I went into business. In 74 we got married. Yep. And so I said to her, well, if you'll let me sell your car, I have somebody that'll buy it for $2,200.
Oh my God.
And I'll get you a car for $1,000, and we'll use the other $1,200 to buy a car to try to sell. Yeah. And she said, okay, go ahead.
And that was the first.
That was the first car that
Yeah.
that we bought and sold, and then one after another.
Was it there at the Crothers place?
Yeah,
That's
it was
where
at
you started
Crothers,
it.
right. So
And-
that was sometime in '74
Yeah.
when we actually got into selling cars.
So when did you move over to your the only address
yeah,
I've ever
yeah,
known?
January of '77.
And you're right on. He's right on Providence. Well, Providence
Providence
Road, right?
Road, yes. Yeah, 546 Providence
Was
Road.
it always that? It's expanded through the years, hasn't it?
Right. When we first moved there, it was an old. Actually, it was an old bar room.
It was.
Yeah, it was just a cellar hall
Yeah.
when we bought it, and so we built the building on it, and it was just that one building. And then over the years, 1984, 85, I guess it was, we bought the building to the right,
Yeah.
and then a little later on, we bought a house that was to the left,
Yeah.
and
With the glass windows, like.
no,
Kind of very
no,
modern,
no. Well, no. There's two more houses over there now, but there were two houses where the empty lots are. We
Yeah.
had those moved.
Yeah. You have a big parking area now. In the
Right. So the first one we bought, Bob Koopman from Koopman Lumber.
Yeah.
He moved that, and then the second one we bought, a man named Dave Roberts.
So many
Ended
memories.
up with that.
So
Yeah.
many.
Oh, there's a lot.
Oh, and you know, you can
45
actually,
years.
you've got that section there where if you're having your car worked on and you need to have a car, I know that I made use of that. You could, what's the word? Not lease, rent. What is it? You could, if you needed a car, you've got that section where you can go in and actually get a car temporarily.
Yeah, we have daily rentals. We have
Yeah.
between 20 and 30 daily rentals.
Yeah.
A lot of them are for the benefit of our customers.
Oh yeah, they were terrific.
When they're leaving their car for service.
Yeah, I remember.
It's the
And I like the way you had the prices. You know, we way back then we didn't have that much money to get a huge car, but I remember Harry Malkasian.
Yeah.
He would take us under his wing because we were coming back.
Yeah.
And he'd show us, now, we look at this and that, like, And he, like a lot of young people starting out, we didn't have a lot. He would work his magic and he would call as many places as he had to.
Yeah.
Let's make a deal. These are good kids. They're going to pay you and everything. It worked out great.
Yeah. Well, I think it basically comes down to we really do care about
Yeah.
our customers,
Yeah.
and
You have an album in your
We-
waiting room, too, a couple of them, showing the pictures of way back when,
Yeah.
through the years. You
Yeah.
can sit there and look at memories.
Yeah.
Paul, can you zero in to his left the sign that's so familiar to so many of us, the beautiful Harborough sign? Who designed that? Was it you, your brother?
Actually, the logo was designed by a woman named Chris Anderson many years ago, and the only change that we've made to it over the years is to make the middle of the O into a heart.
That's what I was just going to say.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that was we have a trademark slogan that says "All heart, no hassle."
Yeah.
It's it is how we try to do business.
Exactly. You've been in business, let's say, total years? How long?
45.
45 years. It just
Yeah.
doesn't seem possible. Now,
No, it doesn't to me either.
we're talking with Tim Hare, and he is a co-founder and CEO of Harborough Auto Sales and Service right over in Whitensville. Again, if you are in Rhode Island, you're over in Connecticut, not far, believe me, right off of, we call it Route 122, but it's Providence Road.
Right.
What number Providence Road?
546.
546.
We
yeah.
also have a place in Webster, right
Yes,
on the
I've heard
Connecticut
about
line.
that, yeah. What road is that one on?
That's on Route 12
How long has that branch been there?
since 1985.
That's
so,
that's pretty
yeah,
good.
33 years this year.
And Tim tells me he's not ready to retire. Not yet, right?
Well, it's I'm not sure how you retire from a family business.
Yeah, they got you right.
It's like motherhood.
Was it like on the Godfather, Michael Corleone? He says you just try to get out and they bring you back in. Now we've got something else to talk about that Tim shared with me and I had no idea about. It's called the Action Track Chair. Can you zero in on that, Paul? Absolutely fantastic. Tell us about it.
Well, it's an off-road wheelchair. It was invented by a man in Minnesota who we know personally. And his son, who's the middle picture there,
Mhm.
was paralyzed in a car accident when he was 16. And they were in the business of snowmobiles, ATVs, things like that So they were always outdoors. And for about 10 years, he kept thinking, how can I put tracks on a wheelchair to get my son back out in the outdoors? And then finally he built one, and then another and another, and now they have dealers all over the world. And so we're the dealer for that in southern New England,
So,
Connecticut, Mass. and
over
Rhode
at
Island.
Harborough Auto Sales, do you have one there to show people?
Yeah, we have 2 demos, yeah. But I go out with, I have a trailer set up with them,
Mm-hmm.
and I go out, my wife goes with me usually, and we do demos at the people's home because
Oh, you'll go right to their home?
yeah, it's a lot more convenient for them. I mean, these people have a lot of challenges, obviously.
Yeah.
So whenever we can, we just go out and do.
Again,
we
it's
do
called
demos.
Action Track Chair, new way to fun. About how much are they?
They start at 11,300, which would be a sit-down version.
Yeah.
And they go up to as much as about 16,300 for the stand-up version.
Now, you told me that it can become a gift for someone too. That you were
Right.
approached to gift them.
Right. We've had more than one anonymous donor approach us and ask us to help them find someone that could use one, and they have donated. One couple donated 2 to people they don't know, never met.
Now, did you say you had trouble finding a vet?
Yeah, we did.
It's amazing.
Actually, not just once, but twice. The VFW in Rhode Island raised money to buy one
Yeah.
for a veteran. He belonged to a VFW post,
Yeah.
and he wanted to give one to a veteran. So every weekend he'd go out and raise money
Yeah.
to do that. And that took him over a year, but he finally raised enough to do it. And then he couldn't find a veteran that he could give it to. Yeah.
It boggles my mind.
Well, it boggles
How
everybody's
far did he
mind.
look around?
A lot,
Yeah.
because...
Just New England, or did he go further?
No, it was Rhode Island. It had to be in
just
Rhode Island
okay.
because it was a
Right.
VFW from Rhode Island.
I used to live near that, not far from there.
Yeah, so anyhow, eventually they did find one, and the man has it now, but it
Yeah.
took about a year.
And it's strictly for, like, it's not just for snow, it's also for out in the grass and things like that, right?
Anywhere, hunting, anything that people can't do in a wheelchair.
How about the beach?
Yes, yeah, a lot of people use them on the beach, in the snow, in the
Yeah.
beach, in the woods.
No age, right? No definite age. You could be any age, and it's fun, right?
Yeah, exactly. They're very, very liberating to people.
Downstairs
Who are in
here at the
wheelchairs.
library, we do have, I've taught it many times, I've mentioned it, some really cool bulletin boards. And if you're interested in the Action Track Chair that Tim Hare is promoting over at Harborough, take a look at our bulletin boards, okay? And he's going to leave some flyers there. Don't be shy. You know, if you know someone, if you need it or you've heard of it, give him a call. I've seen something on the back here. It says Action Track Chair and Track Stander Accessories. What's this all about? They have a lot of accessories?
Yeah.
A camera?
They've got fishing pole holders, and they've got gun racks, holders that they can use for hunting. A lot of them are used by outdoors people
Yeah.
that were used to being outdoors, and now they can't get outdoors because they're in wheelchairs. So
Do the major hospitals, does UMass know about this?
probably not that much. There was a big what made it so popular, and why there's money available for the veterans
Yeah.
is because Fox News did a big thing on it several years ago.
Okay.
And they, through the Independence Fund, which is a nonprofit started by veterans for veterans, and I believe it's still totally voluntary, so that all the money goes to the programs.
Yeah.
They raised a lot of money, millions of dollars, to buy these,
Yeah.
and so they bought thousands of them for veterans.
Now, which VA bought it? Like a headquarters in the country?
No, the VA wouldn't buy them. That was the
But they couldn't be.
right. That's why Fox News and Bill O'Reilly got the Independence Fund involved.
Mhm.
They ended up raising enough money to buy a lot of them. Originally, I think it was just for the Afghanistan and Iraq veterans coming back.
Yeah.
But they had enough money that they opened it up to all veterans that were wheelchair bound, even if they weren't wheelchair bound from a war injury.
Have you been up personally to the VA in Worcester and the one in Rhode Island?
I haven't. No.
Okay, because I was thinking, what I call it, an in-face visit. It says 1,000 words
I
when
know
you
it.
show them.
Yeah, I know. They won't let you put up any signage or anything at
Yeah.
the VA hospitals or anything. I know that because
That doesn't make sense because this is
this is
something is. This is wonderful. You know, I think about the beach and I think, how do the people in wheelchairs? They don't. They
Right,
can't.
right.
Now you can. It's these big tractor wheels,
Yeah.
and the man he devised it himself. The father of this one.
He invented it and developed it along with a young man who's extremely well at fabricating
How
things.
old is his son now?
His son is probably 30-something now.
Oh, he's still fairly young.
Yeah, yeah.
Tim, how can people reach you if they're, first of all, of course, about Harborough, any questions about auto sales and service, but also about the action track, the track chair, how can they reach you?
The best way would be to call our office. It's 508-234-6767 and just tell people that you're interested in the track chair and they'll get you in touch with me. If I'm there, if not, they'll get me a message and I'll call you back. Our website is harboroughauto.com.
This looks like it has been customized. You can have it like, it looks like, what's the?
Camouflage?
Fatigues, yeah.
You can get it in all different colors or camouflage.
Do girls do it too? I mean.
Oh yeah. One of my most amazing clients is a 30-year-old woman,
How about
maybe
children?
35 now, that lives on a 500-acre farm.
Do they?
Children.
Are they smaller?
They make
size?
smaller version ones. Yeah, they do. And now they make a narrow track, which will actually go into the back of a little minivan that's equipped for a
Do they fold
wheelchair.
up?
No,
they're
they're heavy. They're almost 400 pounds. That gives them the stability too.
How fast do they go?
About 4 miles an hour tops. So it's
Okay, let's say
fast
you're in
walk.
Walmart or something and you've broken a leg and you're on that. I love those.
Yeah.
Does it go faster than that?
I've never ridden one, so it's
Oh,
about
you're lucky.
probably about the same.
Yeah.
They go up to 4 miles an hour. That's a fast walk.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's as
pretty
fast as you want to go, especially if you're off road.
Oh, I love it. And they
Yeah.
can even put somebody could put a child on their lap. It looks like it to me.
Oh yeah.
Do you have to wear a
no,
seatbelt on it or no?
Well, they have a seatbelt, and you should wear one.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't tell them not to.
But you don't need a helmet.
No.
Now,
No.
we're talking with Tim Hare, and he is the co-founder and CEO of Harborough Auto Sales and Service over in Whitensville, which they also have one in Webster. Tim, what do you see for the future with Harborough? I mean, you've come so far, but is there anything else on the docket coming up that you can see?
God willing.
Yeah.
I don't know what my sons are running it now.
Yeah.
They've been running it for quite a few years now. They're doing a very good job of it. Through the years, one of the measurements of success to me was not so much how profitable you were, but how well the customers liked what you were doing. That really has been a big part of what we are trying to do.
How many sales reps do you have now?
Right now we have 5, I believe.
5.
Yeah.
When Harry was there, how many were there? 2?
Well, Harry. But Harry was like 5.
He was, when he left, I was so he had bad. I remember his health was kind of bad for a
Yeah,
while.
he went through some health challenges,
Yeah.
but he's doing pretty well now.
It's amazing when you snagged him because he owned the clothing store.
Well, he didn't own it. He worked for the owner.
How
of
did
it.
you two connect?
I've known him all my life, and that really was a chance to have encounter. I saw him at the bank one day, and I said, "What are you doing?" And he said, "Nothing. They closed the store down." And I said, "Would you like to sell cars?" And he said, "Yeah." And he was just a natural at it. He was so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was a nose to the grindstone. Let me find out
was.
type of guy.
Right.
He
And
was.
Harry, Pat Mahoney, who's been with me for 27 years or 28 years. There's so many people that have been a wonderful help.
Yeah.
to me through the years.
And you're
really.
so lucky, you know, I was talking with Glenn Fowler, my co-producer. You are lucky to have two sons to just take over.
Right.
And
yeah.
that they cared to take over.
Yeah, they want to do it.
They like it, right?
Yeah.
Any grandchildren?
Oh, they love it.
You
I
got
have
some?
7 grandchildren.
7?
Yeah.
Well, how old's the oldest and the youngest?
The oldest is 15.
Yeah.
And the youngest is be 3 in May.
Wouldn't it be interesting if one or some of them become interested in Grandpa's business?
Well, my son, Michael has 3 boys.
Yeah. Ah.
And they're all interested. He's interested in keeping it going for them.
Yeah.
And we have 5 others. 4 others. Yeah, just doing the math there.
That's a big family. Do you think
Yeah.
you're going to, I
No,
know you've
it's-
already expanded.
I'm the youngest of 8, so
Yeah, well-
it doesn't seem like a big family yet.
No, I mean, how did your mother do 8 children, huh?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, was that kind of fun or not?
It was great.
Are you from this area originally, Tim?
I'm from Sutton originally.
You're from Sutton.
Right on the Sutton Northbridge town line.
How did you
So-
get interested in cars? Did you know in high school that's what you were going to do?
I guess I did. I started fooling with cars when I was about 8 years old. Literally 8 years old.
Who was your mentor?
I guess my older brother that went
Yeah.
into business with me.
Yeah.
Because he was working on an old car in the yard, and I remembered helping him take a engine out of it and pulling a rear end out of a 54 Ford once, and never cut it back together, but I got it out.
But you took it out.
But anyhow, then I ended up going to Worcester Boys Trades for auto mechanics, and so.
Do they teach that now at BBT?
Oh yes.
If you're not from the area, it's Blackstone Valley
Yes.
Tech, wonderful school.
Yeah, they have a great program there.
And they have that there.
Yes.
Do you
they
think you would have gone there being closer to home?
Well, I got accepted there, actually, because it was one of the first years they opened.
Yeah.
But they had a separate auto body shop.
Yeah.
In Worcester, it was a combination. You actually got to go through the body shop
Sure.
as well as the automotive repair shop.
And you liked it.
I loved it.
How many years did you have to go through for that?
That was 4 years.
Like a 4-year high
It
school.
was high school, exactly. That's
And when
what
you
it
get
was.
out, you have a diploma in that topic?
Yeah, in automotive.
In automotive.
Yeah.
So right out of high school, what did you do?
I worked at J&S Motors.
So you worked at J&S.
Yeah.
How many years were you at J&S?
4 years.
And then
From when I was 15 till I was 20.
Okay, so it hit you and your brother, hey, let's go into business.
Right.
And they started like, now I got this now. Now I got the story, I'll never forget it. They were like where Carruthers Tire is.
Right.
I cannot picture this.
Yeah.
I'm so used to
Yeah.
the big blue Harborough sign. It's like the big blue bug in Rhode Island. It's like that sign.
Yeah.
I can't picture it there.
Yeah,
And again, how
so
many
we-
years were you at Carruthers?
4 years. Just about 4 years. We started in April of 73.
Yeah.
And we moved into where we are now.
And unfortunately,
in
you hit
January.
that embargo with the oil. I
Right.
was in Connecticut at that time. I
Yeah.
remember
Yeah, it
living
was-
with my parents, and I was like, "Well, what's this all about? I can't get around."
Yeah. That was the first embargo. There was a second one in 79.
Yeah,
And that had a big effect on.
but you
on
were
us.
already though at Harborough, right?
Oh, yeah.
But you weren't doing gas at that time.
No, we weren't doing gas. We were down on Providence Road, but we
Yeah.
were now depending on selling cars, and that created a problem because anything that wasn't good on fuel wasn't selling well, and the cars that people wanted were so hard to find.
Yeah.
So it was always interesting.
Tim, again, how can people reach you over there?
Best way is to just give us a call. 508-234-6767. I guess it's on this sign over here,
Yeah,
too.
we got it right here. Could zero in on our Harborough
Yeah.
sign. And what,
Yeah.
Tim? What do you suggest? What's the best way, or are they easier on the younger people now when they're just starting out and they're getting a car? Is it as hard as it was to, or is there more open doors now? More companies saying, "Yeah, we'll take them on, and we'll take them on credit or whatever."
Well,
Anybody,
credit purchasing is a very you have to be very careful, especially the young person,
Yeah.
because if their credit gets messed up, they could be underwater their whole life.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons that we put in a 30-day satisfaction buyback promise
Yeah.
was because of that, because we saw especially young people making mistakes in buying. They bought things they shouldn't have afforded, and a week later they realized it and they couldn't get out of it.
Mm.
So
Okay.
because of one bad day at a car dealer, they were underwater.
Yeah.
Because they couldn't afford it, their car got repossessed, and they ended up, many of them, ended up with bad credit for life.
So if they find out within 30 days, it's like, oops.
Well, for whatever reason, so back in 1991, I believe it was, we decided to try this.
Yeah.
Can we do like LL Bean and say,
Yeah.
if you're not satisfied, we'll take it back.
Sure.
So we put this 30-day satisfaction buyback promise in place and said, for any reason, if you're not satisfied, we'll buy the car back.
Yeah.
That was to make sure that people just would never get stuck in a 5 or 6 year problem
Yeah.
because of a 5 or 10 minute decision.
See, I didn't see it that way. I thought it just meant, well, if something goes wrong with the car if something goes
No.
wrong with the car, I never thought about the payment.
that's really the least of the problems, because you can usually fix the things that go wrong with a car.
Yeah.
But you can't fix a bad decision.
Yeah.
If a person bought something that they shouldn't have, and they realize it 2 weeks later,
Yeah.
well, in the auto industry, there's no out of it.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
If somebody comes to your home and sells you an insurance policy, you have a 3-day right of rescission.
Yeah.
You can cancel that.
In 3 days, though.
That's right,
yeah.
in 3 days. But there is no 3 days in the auto business.
No.
So when we first put it in, it was with the hope that it would actually change the industry. That if people understood that they could buy a car from a dealer that would promise them satisfaction for 30 days or take it back, then people would demand it.
Yeah.
And as the consumer demands it, then the businesses will do it. It hasn't worked. I mean, some dealers have. Some dealers have done. There's some 3-day. There's some 5-day.
Were you the pioneer of all this?
Well, that particular, I don't know anyone that ever tried it before that.
I had never heard of it.
Right, and it wasn't just about the car.
Yeah.
So what it did for us as a company is it forced us, everybody, not that we didn't want to, not that I didn't want to, but it forced the whole team to be very focused on making sure that they're truthful and honest,
And they knew they could pay for it.
and that they weren't pushing somebody into a car that they shouldn't buy.
Did it happen very much at all?
The buyback?
Yeah. You get a 25-year-old guy in there, he's got really good intentions, but then he finds out...
I would say it happens on average about 6 times a year.
Yeah.
And that's probably, and most of it isn't that the car had a problem.
Yeah.
It was just not the car that they should have bought. So maybe somebody with 3 children buys a little small car and realizes this doesn't fit. So
What a great idea. So they can bring it back.
they can bring
You
it
can
back.
take that money that they want to put into and put into what really would fit for them, right?
Exactly.
Sure.
Right. So it's.
Can't win.
I
You can't lose.
You can't lose. No,
you can't lose. It's like a win-win situation.
Right. And
I
that's,
like that. I never thought of that.
That was the whole purpose of it, is that, and we tried it. We said, we'll try it for 6 months and
Yeah.
see if it's going to hurt us, and break us. I didn't know.
Yeah.
It's just
I remember the first car I had, well, my parents were tough. I think I had about $1,600 in savings. I was just, 21. And they said, you're going to buy it from us. I was not given a car. They could have. They could have. They didn't need my money.
That's because they loved you.
Well, maybe. I don't know what it was, but
certainly.
maybe because Dad was strict. But I'm
He didn't
thinking,
want to spoil you.
I couldn't believe it. I'm like, what? It's a 73 whatever Chevy Nova, and I'm like, what are you doing? Come on. Dad had his business car. Mom could have had another car. Well, anyway. So I said, all right. So I bought it, cash in hand. I think I took almost just about everything out of my savings account. And then guess what? Things started going wrong with it. So I said, all right, I've had it. So I was going up to another and says, the previous owners just didn't take care of this car. Guess what? They paid for it. They paid for all the things that needed to be fixed. It worked.
Well, you'll appreciate
the
this.
old guilt trip.
You'll appreciate this story. That my oldest son, Mike,
Yeah.
when he was 14, we came home with this nice red Chevy Beretta.
What year?
1988.
Yeah.
So that would have been in 1992, because 91. So anyhow, he had worked there since he was 11, washing cars,
Oh.
but I wouldn't let him work there unless he agreed to save 80% of his money.
Oh, I could see telling that to my son.
Yeah, so he did, and he had money to buy this car, but he wrote me out a business plan how we would pay for it over the next 2 years.
Did you accept it?
Yes, it was a well-done plan. It was a wonderful plan.
$20 a month, maybe?
So much a week, and my only stipulation was he couldn't register it until it was all paid for,
What?
and he had a third of the insurance money.
You're worse than Mr. Wonderful at Shark Tank.
So that's why I said
You're
your
rough.
father wasn't strict. He was just giving you good training.
You've seen Shark Tank, right?
I have.
You know, that guy goes, he gets it went on to the equity and all this. I'm like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't do a deal with you. I want someone who keeps it. I want to keep it simple. We've
Yeah.
got to go. Listen, people, again, Tim Hare, CEO, co-founder of Harbro Auto Service and Sales over in Whitensville, and also this wonderful action track share program. Great with all the tractor thing on it. Great for people who need that, and he can tell you all about it. You've got a couple demos right there, and you'll go to your house, right? You'll
Yes.
show it to them.
Yes, we'll take it out and demo it. You can ride it around and.
Not demo meaning
Right.
demo meaning ride.
No, we'll give you a demonstration.
I
of
can't believe how strict you were with your son about that. I thought I had it bad.
Yeah.
I had to take everything out of my savings account and give it to my father, but then I got them. You're going to
Yeah.
fix it. Thank you, Tim, so much for being
Well,
with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I-
We'll see you
I
next time on Be
appreciate
My
it.
Guest.